Hello, everybody. Welcome to 3D animation with Blender, uh, our scene creation masterclass, week 2. Yeah, thanks again for joining us. I want to remind everyone that you can definitely rewatch all of these through our Vimeo links that you have. So they're archived right when we're done, so you can watch them again after. So you can go over everything that Leon's talking about and going over. I will also be putting up. I'll put up an email that you can contact Leon about in terms of going over any questions you might have about Blender and what he's gone over. Or if you're stuck with something, you can send him an email. If you have general questions about Creator Space, you can send me an email. So I'll post your emails up in the chat as we get going. But yeah, without any further ado, let me pass it along to Leon. Here we go.
Thanks, Tom. Hello, everyone. Thanks again for coming, and welcome back to the Blender Workshop Part 2, Scene Creations and Designs. So on the last workshop, we were working on the building and then creating the grounds, and as well as the sidewalk, the road. And today we are going to make the lamppost, and then the fence, as well as the tree. So yeah, so let's get going. So before we go to the lamppost, I'm just gonna finish up this building here, and just usually on the top of the building there's a block of woods here to well, if yeah, so just you'll see what I mean. I'm not sure what they call it, but it's just gonna just make this really quickly. And so just stretch it Y. Stretch it X. Okay. So it's like last time. If you look at the bottom left here, these are the keys that I'm clicking for my shortcut key, and you can hopefully that will help a little bit. Okay, so let's go to edit mode, and let's divide this scale. Okay. And let's go to face mode and extend this one here. And then back to edges mode. Then just one will be good. Up until here. And we'll connect this too. Before we do that, let's delete this face. Dissolve. Delete faces. Go to edges. Connect them. Connect all. All right, so that's pretty good. We don't need to be, you can make it more fancier by adding more geometries on the top, but that's really up to you. For the purpose of this, because we only have a short amount of time, so I'm just going to make it as basic as I can. So that's done for the building. Let's continue moving on to the lamppost. So let's select all this object, and then we can hide them. So, and then we can create a new mesh, and let's try with a cylinder. Now, on the bottom left here, you can change the vertice. I usually like to go with 16, pretty good. You can go to 8 if you want. So to make it less geometry. And then I'm going to, everything else good. Let's try this. Okay. Now let's resize this and then scale it. Will be the pole. Let's see. Let's open up the other just to make sure that it's on the proper height. It's a little bit too high, so let's bring it down a little bit. I think that's good. Make it a bit smaller. There. Perfect. So let's hide all of them again. H. Oops. So let's go to edit mode and vertice and having it X-ray mode. So let's do it this way. Let's add geometries here. And then we'll expand the bottom like that. That's good. Oops. Bring that, expand. All right, that's pretty good. That's a good base for the lamp, and we are going to make an extension for the top. So here, make another one here, expand it. Okay. I'm going to extrude this up, expand it, extrude it again, and that will be the base for the lights, the glass for the light, the lamp, and that's done for the base. Now let's continue making a new mesh. For this one here, I think the plain. No, let's go with cylinder again. All right, so we got the cylinder again. Resize that. And let's go to vertex mode and resize that to smaller one. That's okay. Extrude this. Again, extruding is the best way to model. I love extruding things. So extrude again till you get this pointy tip. I think I want to make this smaller. So you get that pointy lamp on top. All right, that's pretty good. Now we'll select both of them and we're gonna shade smooth. And what we're going to do is we're going to add modifier on the side here. We'll go to Subdivision Surface. All right, both of them we'll add Subdivision Surface, and as you can see, it looks odd like that. So we're going to add more geometry here to make it better looking. Bring it down. Oops, wrong one. There you go. Not too bad, I would say. It's a subdivision surface. Let's see, we could probably add a little bit more here. To have it more flat, like a bevel. So okay, that's one over here, one over here. All right. And we'll do the same thing here on the lamp. We'll just put it down here. Now you can do what you call it again. Let's add making a little bit more. I have the reference on my left side here, which is, like I said last workshop, is always good to have a reference if you can. Oops. Reference model can help. All right. Well, let's add more here to be more. Okay, that's pretty good. I can always tweak more if I want to. All right, you get your lamp pose. Bring everything out, and that's okay. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to make the fence for this. Again, the best way to do it is a metal fence. We're going to start with the cylinder again. 8 will be okay. And then we'll resize that. Resize that smaller, maybe a little bit bigger. Okay. All right. This is good. Sheet smooth. Now we have the sizing correct. We'll hide everything else beside the fence. I like to do this just so you don't really get too overwhelmed with the image and just can concentrate. Once you get the overall pictures of what you want to design, and then you can just go into details in modeling. That's how I normally work. So this is good. Now I'm going to put something on top here, an ornament. And that will start again with, should I shoot with a cone or cylinder? Let's try with a cone. Oops, this is the first time I make cone. I want to put the vertex into 8 again, which is maybe 16. See this number of vertices. The higher the number, the more detail. The less the numbers will be, the less detail. So as you can see here, so 16 will be good for me here. And let's bring this up. Put it in the middle, resize it. Okay. Make it bigger. And let's add more geometry. We always like more geometry. Oh, that's weird. It's not adding anything. What is sorry, something not right here. What is the X resolve vertices? So this is odd. I'm not sure why it's not allowing me to add. Let's try something. Cube. Yeah, it's fine. That is odd. Undo. I'm not sure why I can't cut my geometry. Let's delete that, and let's try use a cylinder. Much better. I think we can do better with the cylinder instead of the cone there. More. Okay, so let's select face. Bring it down this way, resize it, and then bring it up, expand it, extrude it, and expand it. Yeah, that's all I want to do. Not sure why it's difficult to do with a cone, but anyway, it does. It works. So again, we'll add it with Subdivision Surface. Now, you probably think why we don't use a bevel. You can use a bevel, but I like the Subdivision Surface because you have more control in terms of it's like manually compared to like bevel. You have to play around with this number here, which I'm more visual, so I tend to like things very I can see if I need to add something. And for the Subdivision Surface, I don't know if you remember, I like it to be in a Catmull Clark. Just random knowledge. Catmull and Clark is the technical director for Pixar. They're the one that created this system in order to make your geometry smoother instead of like adding more geometry like what we normally do is the computer will make it's very I guess mathematically choosing the tip of the points of your geometries where the edges are and try to smooth that artificially. I guess there's a whole document about that if you want to learn more about technical, but yeah, the main thing is it helped to smooth the objects without adding more geometries. Okay. So this one here. Okay. That's pretty good. Put that a bit bigger, and we got our fence here. And then we'll duplicate it. Bring it up here. Then we'll make something in between, and that will be another cylinder. Actually, let's just duplicate this and then make it thinner. This. And we'll make the top pointy. So we'll duplicate this several times. And Shift DY. This is not a precise, but I just eyeball it. It's to make it the spacing between the two, the bar. Okay. Okay, very good. So we have that. Now let's duplicate this again and rotate it 90 degrees, and we'll connect this to. Let's make it thinner. Expand it. There you go. Voila! You have your fence. So let's see if we can bring everything out again. So let's copy this. Shift D. Bring it here. And let's make this whole section. And let's duplicate that again. Shift D. Shift D. Maybe one more. Perfect. Voila! You have your fence. Sorry about that. Need some liquid and. Okay, that's pretty quick. But everything there are a basic modeling that you already learned from the previous workshop. I just do it pretty quickly because it's a pretty simple object. And if you're confused about certain things, you can always email me, or you can watch the previous workshop to get more clarification from there. So yeah, like hopefully some of you are following along and creating the same. And if you have any roadblock and if you don't understand a certain thing, just let me know. And if you want to have my input in certain things too, and you can, Tom will give you my email address for that. And you can email me with your questions, and I'll be able to reply. I'll try to reply as soon as I can, but yeah, and hopefully before the next workshop, we are all in the same page regarding this. So the next thing is to create the tree, which is, it's not as difficult as you think. I'll tell you why. All right, let's first hide everything. Okay, now for the tree. There's 3 ways of doing trees. The first one is obviously you model it yourself, and then you'll create the shape however you want it to be, that you have more control in how the tree will look like. This will be good if the tree is the focal point of your artwork. So if you want, there's something unique about the tree that you want the viewer to look, then it's best for you to model it yourself and get that shape the way you want it to be. But if the tree are just for an accessory, it's like an add-on for your scene, it doesn't necessarily need to be specific shape, then there's 2 ways of doing that. It's an add-on from Blender, and I'll show you to you like really quickly and how to do it. And another one is an add-on called M-Tree. And this both add-on, the one from Blender is obviously default. It's a default of Blender, so you can just turn it on. And the M-Tree is a free add-on that you can download it, and then I can teach you how to install it. So obviously I'm not going to show you how to model a tree because it's similar to how to model the building. It's just, you just use a basic shape and then you extrude it, and the same formula and the same technique and how you model everything else. It's just that you just need a reference on how the trees look like, and you can continue make the shape the tree as much as you want. The other one is the Blender default tree generator. So in order to do that, if you want to go to Edit, go to Preferences. On the left side here, the Blender preference, there's an add-on, right? So this is a sapling tree generation. So if you just type a tree, you got one here, and I have another one M-Tree here. So you want to click this in order to enable it, and that's it. Then you just close that. And the way to do it is you just want to create the same thing, create a mesh. You want to add a curve in this one, not a mesh, but a curve. And you will have an option here called the sapling tree generation. So there you go. It will generate the sapling of the tree. Now, once you create the tree here, you got the box modifications here, the dialog box. You want to, this is the one that is really difficult, because not difficult, but if you're not getting the shape that you want and then you already get out, once you get, you can't change that using the dialog box from the beginning. So that means once you have it done, once your dialog box gone, you're stuck with this tree. I mean, obviously you can probably edit it yourself, but it's complicated to do it that way manually. So the best, I mean, the only way to do it is to create a new one and then try to manipulate it again until you get the actual tree that you like. So I'm not going through all these different. I'm just gonna go through it pretty quickly. So in the geometry settings, this is basically the geometry, and then you can go to you can change the bevel resolutions, right? So the higher the resolutions, the more smooth it is. And the curve, you can change that too. And the shape, you can go to conical. So essentially, you can play around with all these selections here and choose which one is that you want to create the tree shape that you envision. And the same thing, if you want to get to the branch, you can get more branch, radius, minimum, roots, all this. You can play around with this numbers and see what it does, right? And then the grow, like you can change this, you can change that, play around with the lengths, and all these things to create the kind of tree that you like to create. And the leaves, again, you can go to hexagonal, rectangular. I normally use the rectangular. And then this is a more complicated, but essentially you can show the leaves here, right? And then you can add the leaves, let's say 2000, right? And you get more, and then you can play around with the setting of the leaves here. Obviously, let's just put the 500 for now because it's too long. Leaf rotations. Again, you can play around with all these numbers here to get the right look of the tree. So once you're done, there's a way to, you can texture it, and then it will eventually render like a tree. So let's see, what's the render here, EV? So that's the Blender tree, to make a tree with the Blender default add-on. Now, what I did is I'm using the M3 add-on. So let's delete this. Let's delete all that. The M3 add-on is, I think it's a lot better. You can Google it, M3 Blender add-ons, and that will direct you to the place where you can download it. And once you download it, it will be in the zip file. And don't unzip that file because you just use it as is. So the same thing, you go to Preferences, since I already added the M3, I don't need it. But if you don't, the first time you're adding it on, you want to go to install, right? And then you want to look for where you put your which for here it's like add-ons. So I have all this add-on here. You click on the add-ons with the zip, and then you just click install add-ons, and that's it. And you got it installed, and you turn it on, and you got the M3 add-ons installed in your Blender. That's will be the same with every single add-ons that you want to install in Blender. And Blender is really great because it's such a huge community and it's very helpful, and they always created new easy way for you to create stuff without the needing to model it from the beginning or animate it or rig it from the your model. You just speed up your process of animating in general, so you can focus on things that you're more interested in, like let's say modeling a certain characters. You don't really care about the environment as much. There's an add-ons to help you to create adding elements around it, and you just focus on your characters. So this is just to speed up in production. The faster you can get everything else modeled or adding, the faster you can get your scenes done. So this is, once you get to know how to work with Blender, you'll find out the things that you need, what kind of add-ons that you like to add it in your Blender program that will help your work process. So, okay, so let's go to the M3s. If you you can either open this new Windows here, or you can add it a new Windows at the bottom top here, right? Area options. So it doesn't matter. I just use this one here, and then you go to the top left, and you get the M3 Node 3, and you want to click that, and you want to click New. Now, there's nothing here, so we go to M3 Node here, and there's some selections here: old oak, default trees, spruce, cut spine. Let's just use an old oak. It's always a nice preset, and you can load preset, and you get all this already designed for you. It's already like preset done, right? So perfect. So let's just create tree. And click on that and just wait. And you can have your oak tree. Woo! Wow, that's nice. Okay, so, and then you can randomize it if you want. You can change it. And then it will randomize it the way it'll look, depending on how you want it, how it looks. Again, it just gives you a basic look of the oak tree. You don't really necessarily use exactly the same. Now, the branches already done. The trunks is already done. The branches done. Now, what we want to do is we're going to create Shift A here and nodes, and then go to twig node. We're gonna make the leaves, and we want to execute it. The leaf I'll make here. You can see here there's a leaf here. I'll bring it down, and we go to the tree parameters here. Click the create leaves, and this eyedropper tool, and eyedrop it to that leaves. All right, now you got your trees. Now what we're gonna do, update tree. Voila! Beautiful oak tree. Isn't it easy? You don't really need to model anything. It's done there. Obviously, you can change the settings here if you want. Again, depending on if you want to, what kind of tree you want to create and how, what kind of shape you want to get from your tree. So you can create, you can change the settings around here and make it however you want it. So yeah, and this obviously like the leaves is already texture, and since we have time, let's go texture the trunks, the branches. So click on the trunks and branches, and go to your material property, and click new, and then you want to go to your base color here, and select image textures, and you want to open and then find the textures that you want. I have one here, and done. You have that texture. So if you go to your material preview, you can see that I have the tree barks textures. And that's done. So let's open all the other and see if we can move these. Okay, let's go out of the material. We go to solid. Just mix small sizes. Rotate it if you want. Oops. All right. So there you go. You get the trees beside your building. Oh, looks nice, isn't it? It's a bit heavy on the leaves, but as it works okay. Well, just if you don't like it, you can always play around with the trees. Look, and yeah. So that's for today's modeling session workshops. And next week, we're gonna go dive into texturing it, and hopefully we can get it done in one class. And then the next one, the last one, will go into creating all the scenes together with the atmosphere and the lightings, and like get the final renders done. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks for coming, guys, and hopefully this will help you with the Blender journey.
So thanks again for joining us, and we will see you next week, same time, 11 a.m. for week 3. Thanks again, and have a good day.